I'm told that the first song that I sung was that Unbelievable by EMF. The Oh, you're unbelievable. It's all Britpoppy. I remember like really getting into Oasis and Blur when I was like very young. I remember, as everyone does, knowing all the words to like She's Electric, and I remember Tender being a big thing. Really liking that song. First album I bought was Hot Fuss by The Killers, which I still stand by. I know The Killers aren't massively cool, but like that's a decent album. And yeah, that's sort of, although my first gigs were, I think, boy bands, I'm pretty sure that my aunt took me to see, because I was like 4 and she really wanted an excuse to go see them. But yeah, the first real memory of music is that whole like Oasis, Blur, Britpoppy thing when I was like 2 or 3. I can vaguely remember liking all that stuff. The first band I got all the B-sides and stuff to, the first band I became, and I'm still moderately obsessed with them, is the Arctic Monkeys. I was like, and actually, because I was maybe a wee bit too young for the first album, like I think I was like 8 or 10 or something. No, it was maybe like 12 or something when that came out, so it was just before getting into music. But the second one I listened to and was like, oh my god. I went back and listened to the first one, and then every single album they've had out since I've loved. Even the new one, I love the new one. I'm kind of like, I quite like that they sort of seem not to care about what people want them to do, which is, I think, it's a good thing. I'd rather that than somebody try to recreate the same thing over and over again. But yeah, I remember getting like the Leave Before the Lights Come On EP. I remember getting like going back and getting the EP before Whatever People Say I Am. Is that like Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys? I remember like stuff like Despair in the Departure Lounge is still one of my favourite one of their songs. So the first band I got in like deep cuts was Arctic Monkeys.
I'm always forgetting that on love and time.
Kurt Vonnegut massively. Like I think that was I was probably the last person I read that I got obsessed with. Like I read as many of his books as I possibly could. I'm reading Samuel Beckett now, who's amazing. I think poetry is really difficult to make. I feel like it's like looking at a painting. I feel like visual art and poetry are very similar in that it's hard to be as invested as it is in a novel or a song or a film, because you're just looking at a snapshot of a thing. Saying that, I do think John Cooper Clarke is amazing, and I do really like, I've read a book of Brecht's poetry and I really enjoyed that. Try to think what other writers. Kate Tempest, I think, is a modern poet, is amazing. I know that she's a singer as well, but her poetry's absolutely ridiculous. It's so good. But yeah, I'm probably the last person I was truly obsessed with was Kurt Vonnegut. My favourite book still is probably Catcher in the Rye as well, which I know is kind of like an S5 answer to give, but I love it. It was the first book to make me laugh properly, and I think that art doesn't need to be about anything. It doesn't need to be a narrative. It can be about just somebody talking. I think influenced massively what I write.
What am I to do?
Probably what most directly influences I don't know, though it's interesting, most of the guitar bands of our generation are probably influenced by either the sort of late 70s or like 80s thing of the Clash up to the Smiths, or the 90s. And the 90s came out of hope. Like the 90s music is all about, oh my god, Labour have got in, everything's going to be great. As much as that turned out to be not everything that you'd hope. That's more triumphant in it, and that's maybe why that's probably why Oasis worked, is because it couldn't have came out of any time other than that. But I don't know, I think that what either happens is people try and confront it or escape it, and it's about how bad the world is, I think, doesn't necessarily make good or bad art. It's about how people interpret it. I definitely think there's the scope. Maybe now there's more demand and more diverse voices. So I think that good art can definitely come out of that. I hope that good art comes out of all this mess, but I don't really see a lot of evidence of that. I think that especially guitar music, there's obviously exceptions. Idols are really cool and are doing really cool stuff. But again, Kate Tempest has guitar music, but she's amazing and is doing very cool stuff. Courtney Barnett's great. Parky Courts are really good. But I don't know if any of their music, apart from maybe Idols and Kate Tempest, are a response to what's happening right now. I just think they're like really talented artists. So I think it will give people inspiration, but I also think Brexit's too boring and complicated to create really good art. I think that a constitutional question about what supranational organisation we decide to join, it's not the miners' strike, is it? It's centrists against centrists. It's boring. And as much as, yes, I voted Remain and hope it doesn't happen, any Brexit protest music I've heard has been horrendous. I'm pretty sure there was a couple of attempts during the referendum to write some very good Brexit-inspired music. It's pish and boring. And if Brexit's the reason you go into politics, while it's good to have you, you should maybe have been paying a bit more attention before this. That's what I've got to say on that. Definitely. There is literally a song on the album which is completely about my experience in a place called Kneeling, where we went to a protest, and we arrived in a pal side, took us into his family home and showed us that he was kind of like a sort of amateur documentarian about the oppression, and he showed us videos of really graphic, horrible videos of the IDF coming into this protest and just shooting people with non-lethal bullets and killing people with them. We learned then that this village, Nilleen, was a farming village, that when the wall was built in the sort of 2000s, the illegal border wall, they built it basically so it cut the houses and the farmland in half and took all the farmland and left them with just their accommodation. And obviously this had been people who had lived off the farmland for their entire, like, generations of people living in an agricultural sort of society. So they protested that. They took drills to the wall. Bear in mind, this is farming people with no weapons against one of the most powerful armies in the world. They took drills to the wall. We're one of the few places where they managed to push the wall back. But obviously, in pushing the wall back, they pissed off the IDF a little bit. And the IDF basically responded by killing a few of them to just try and stop it. They responded by refusing to stop protesting, so every single Friday they go out and protest this wall and kneeling, and we arrived on a Friday. So we went on the protest with them. I'm not a religious person, but they did the call to prayer, kind of about to Mecca before they went, and it was sort of an experience that made your hair stand up in the back of your neck. Then they stood up, we walked towards, they were chanting Arabic, and then as we turned the corner they started chanting English, which I later learned was to signify to the IDF that there are people who speak English here, which basically means don't shoot, because I think which is quite conscientious of them, but I think they're very willing to die for their cause, but they didn't want to put that on us. So there was kids as young as 4 and 5 there. We turned the corner and we just see an Israeli presence that is massively heavy-handed. Sort of multiple cars, people with guns, people with tear gas launchers. We get to, like, from me to you away. For some reason, me and my friend Louis are at the front and looked at each other like, oh God, why are we leading this? I've never been confronted by a gun before, but it's pretty terrifying, and these people are confronted with it every day. And we stopped, and there was like a queue of us that way from them. They said something in Hebrew, and a Jewish Israeli guy who was with us protesting turned and said, that means this is an illegal protest, you get 5 minutes. Waited the 5 minutes out, because we couldn't exactly run away when the wee kids are there, standing up. We need to show a little bit of solidarity. Then after 5 minutes, they just launched the tear gas. Like, these are like people with like maybe like 17, 18. I don't know if it's 18 or 16. That's the entry level for the army, but they were young. And they just got bored. They were just like, it's 45 degrees. I can't be bored standing here wasting my time anymore. So they just fired tear gas. It's a very effective crowd dispersal tool. as I learned. We were crouched behind a Red Cross van, and a tear gas canister came with me and my mate Hendo, and it went off. It was just like, Jesus. And a wee guy was like, don't worry if you get tear gassed, my house is over there. And he was like 4 or 5, and you're like, both really compassionate and sweet, but also horrifying that he's not scared about this. He's done this so many times, he's not scared. Then the dust sort of settled, and we eventually went back, but that has directly inspired a song. So yeah, I think massively inspired me to create art.
Still misfortunate, at the mercy of a god, his test.
All of my favourite songs are usually about love or heartbreak. So as much as sometimes you're inspired to write about politics, I realise that none of my favourite Billy Bragg songs are just political songs. It's like Greetings to the New Brunette, I've Got Tattooed Tomorrow, all his best songs are love songs. I think that it's so universal. Everyone's been in love or everyone's been heartbroken. Not everyone is interested in politics, not everyone is interested in these issues, so I think it makes, like, and also I think what you're compelled to write a bit more often than not is the thing you feel strongest about, and usually that's love or heartbreak. So like, Useless is just about a breakup that happened, and it's the reason you write it is a sort of half therapeutic reason, because like it's really good to exercise those feelings, because it's complicated, especially the tone of that song. It's not really like an angry song or anything, it's like a song that's just a bit sad about the way that things have worked out. So I think that with songs like that, and then on the album there's like a proper big love song, there's a breakup song, there's a song about the sort of escapist quality of meeting somebody in a provincial nightclub dancing and getting off with them. There's loads of different flavours of that thing, but I think the reason that so many people write songs about that thing is that it's so universal, everybody feels it, and art's about making a connection. It came out that song was written in direct response to a friend of mine. I'll run it by him whether I can say his name in it, but it's Duncan that plays in the band, came out, but a friend of mine coming out and it kind of being, I don't know if it's a song written for someone, but when someone that close to you is going through that, I think you can't help but like want to maybe say something a bit. It's sort of written as a bit of like a show of solidarity to that community. I think for a young age, I've kind of, one of the things I've cared deeply about is that cause. From like going to a Catholic school, which actually was, to be fair, not terrible on it, but I mean, it's still Catholic, so it can. There's only so far you can go in gay rights in a religious school. But if you're coming from a religion that, let's say, isn't as inclusive as it could be, and then growing up, and then now you've got the sort of the trans fight where some people are kind of neglecting the fact that history will look back very badly on anyone who doesn't think that trans rights are human rights right now. And even that song is to an extent about stuff like the right of women to be free from getting like slut shamed and stuff. It's sort of, I don't know, it's just a bit about being able to express who you are through your sexuality. But it was written in direct response to a friend coming out, so like that's sort of a song for that person.
What's it to be done with a lyric pen and guitar like?
I don't really, mate. To be honest, I think that I see like being Catholic in Scotland is a little bit comparable to being maybe like, and again, I think we don't face anywhere the same level of oppression, but I'm speaking more from a personal point of view in terms of how you view your religion as maybe like Jewish in America. Because I know that a lot of Jewish people in America, like the family that I have of my Jewish cousins in Australia, have said that like it isn't really about the religion, it's about feeling part of a community and a culture. And you have that weird thing where to your more religious family members, you're very critical of your religion, but to anyone outside of the religion who criticise it, you're really defensive. And I know that my family probably think I'm like ultra critical of Catholicism, and my friends probably think I'm very defensive of it. Obviously, organised religion as a socialist, you don't love, but I do think that in Scotland and Ireland, Northern Ireland, it's the two places in the world where Catholicism is this weird thing where it isn't what it is in Brazil, it isn't what it is in Spain, it isn't the kind of pro-establishment, pro-conservative thing. You have a lot of Catholics, most Catholics in Scotland will vote SNP or Labour. Most Catholics in Scotland are part of a group that's been traditionally oppressed. You couldn't get a job if you were a Catholic in the sort of 60s and 50s or some jobs. I've family members who were known as the Tim in their profession because such was the lack of Catholics in their profession. So like, I don't think I can say that the frustration grows out of being from a Catholic background, because actually I think that most of what that Catholic background means to me isn't really about religion. It's about my family, it's about it's about my school, it's about sort of these quirks that you were brought up in, as opposed to it being about a very oppressive system. Because I was pretty lucky, I had a pretty decent Catholic school, the teachers were great. The priests, when I was younger, I went through the change of priests being fire and brimstone, angry Northern Irish people, to being young Scottish guys who'd just come out of the seminary who played Xbox. So it was like, yeah, I play Call of Duty as well, can we sit and rap about the Lord? And so I lived through that change. It was a bit like a culture shock. But I think the frustration comes out of, I don't know, my parents being people who cared about stuff. Even though they weren't explicitly political, they were both pretty principled people. And I think they passed that on. And then I think you've seen things and sort of, it's the external world. I think it's less what happened to me, because I've had a very easy life, I've had a nice life, I've had a great family, and I've not undergone any struggle really. But I think where my frustration comes from is external things, is wanting the world to be a certain way or noticing injustice, as opposed to things that happen to me. So I don't think Catholic school's the reason. It's just a good line in that song.
Where do we go? Can it even?
Half of it, maybe not half of it, maybe about 13 songs. I think maybe like 5 of the songs are from the sessions that Shiny Toys and Do What You Want came out of. So we're probably with the same guy, Chris Marshall. We had Johnny Madden co-produce the first half, and then the second half, Jamie Holmes, who was our drummer and drummed in the album but has left us since, he co-produced the second half, so it was quite cool to have a nice full stop with him co-producing and drumming in the end of it. But the thing that I would say is that the live sessions we've come out with and So It Goes are a huge amount of misdirection. And I don't know I think that's good, because I think it shows people that you can do loads of different things, but maybe people will be pissed off because we've suggested we're going one way and we're really not going one way at all. There's a lot more singing. I think actually every track is singing. There's big, long, like I say long, 5 minutes. We're not getting into shoegaze territory here with 10-minute songs, but there's like big tunes that close each half of the album. It flows really well. We had massive debates about what went into it. There's only one song that we've released that's going on the album. Like the 12 new tracks on it, which again, I think I would like that we can only do what we think is right. I think that given, because it's not as if you can't listen to the rest of the EP's still there, but the album's going to be 12 brand new songs. So I think that the first song comes out on the 19th, this might be out by then.
And this is going out
In conjunction with that, so the first song that comes out on it is called Absurd. It has arpeggiated bass synths, some claps, an 808 drum hi-hat sound. We've not gone completely one way, but we've added a bit of something into it. It's got a big instrumental bit. I think that maybe that the integration of my voice as a lyricist with the band is a lot more seamless now. And stuff like Low, for example, the point of that is that I have a thing to say, and the rest of the music kind of goes around that. Now they all sound amazing on it. Duncan's guitar solo is great, Ben's bass sounds brilliant, James' drum is amazing, but maybe they're not as much to the fore in that. Whereas in this, I still think a very, very prominent part of it is my lyricism and my singing, but I think it's all a bit more integrated and it's all a bit more smooth and seamless. And so you have really, really interesting instrumentation around the same kind of lyrics, the same kind of vocal performances. No, not at all. I was briefly, and I'm very apologetic for that. Look, I'm not proud of being Scottish. I'm definitely not embarrassed about it. I think it's pretty cool. Wee place. I think there's lots of stuff to like about it. But I do think that patriotism as a thing is pretty daft. And I think that I'm more proud of being Glaswegian than Scottish. I think that I see more in common with, like, and again, I love the Highlands. I love the islands. I think they're great, really cool places, but you go up there and you're a Ouija. They see you and they know you're a Ouija for a second, and it's funny. I like that interaction. It's really good, but they are different places. Whereas when you go to Sheffield and Liverpool and Manchester, I think that it's a much more similar place than anywhere else, really. Glasgow, Dundee are a bit similar, but again, pretty different. Whereas I think Glasgow, Liverpool, Sheffield, Manchester. Now, does that mean I'm not for independence anymore? Not necessarily. I do hope Corbyn gets in. I hope there's a Labour government, but whatever the easiest way to get a fairer government is, I'm for. If that's independence, great. If it isn't, fine. But I don't think I'm a patriot now. I think patriotism means that you think that you are better, your country's better by virtue of the fact it's your country. I think that's dangerous and stupid. Again, George Carlin, you didn't fucking decide where you were born. Like, you just came out of a person and ended up in a bit of the world. It really doesn't matter where people are from as well. I think patriotism leads to thinking other people are worse because of where they're from. And I don't think Scotland's really that bad for that. Our nationalism isn't as linked to fascism and the far right as others are, but I still think being a patriot's quite silly.